eternal love and wisdom. And K.O.S. That's gentleness, Be gentle with self. That's important as we finna come into another divine wisdom. Okay, I want us to go from number 5. All right. The essence, now check this out. The essence and the whole of Vedanta. So I want to take you to the Vedanta. I want you to know that Jesus read the sacred books. Also, let's see you with some caption. Yeah, right there. See, Jesus and Bharata together, they read the sacred books. So you see, together Jesus and Bharata read the Vedas. So that's what they call the Vedanta. So like Jesus did, you and I going to read the sacred books. And we're going to have a discussion. The essence and the whole of Vedanta is this knowledge. This supreme, one second, let's see, okay. This supreme knowledge that I am, you heard, I am that I am, by nature, the formless, all-pervasive self. That's the omnipotent, all-pervasive, omnipresent, all-pervasive. These are English words now. There's no doubt that I am that God who is the self of all. Y'all excuse me. I like the sounds, it's so fun. There's no doubt that I am that God who is the self of all. Pure, indivisible, like the sky, naturally stainless. I indeed am immutable and infinite, of the form of pure wisdom. I do not know how or in relation to whom joy and sorrow exist. 8. I have no mental activity, good or bad. I have no bodily function, good or bad. I have no verbal action, good or bad. I am the nectar of knowledge beyond the senses, pure. The mind, indeed, is of the form of space. The mind, indeed, is the form of space. The mind, indeed, is omnifaced. The mind is the past. The mind is all. But in reality, there is no mind. Let's give that a little rest on the mouth. But in reality, there is no mind. The mind, indeed, is the form of space. But in reality, there is no mind. You get that? You remember the movie Matrix? Where the little Buddha, the little future Buddha, said there is no spoon. There is no spoon. Yes. And so this is what we talk about. There is no mind. Well, no, I would. Y'all look it up on YouTube. Matrix, no spoon scene. There's no spoon scene. And you can get a grab of what this is saying. See, because you're going to try to grab space, but you can't grab space, so there is no mind. All the phenomenal universe, including all time and space, cosmos, in reality, in the highest realization of the spirit, there is no mind. Man is not the body nor the soul. Soul is a word to confuse us. That's why, there's no soul. You are the ultimate reality. These things, some words have been designed to separate and for control. And so in reality, this is what you need to know as the highest plane of spirit live. In the highest realization of the spirit, there is no mind. I see the moon ascending right now off the horizon. There is no mind in the highest realization of the spirit. See, there's only wisdom. This is why we have to understand. There's only wisdom. Yes. 10. I, the one only, am all this, beyond space and continuous. How can I see the self as visible or hidden? Question mark. How could you see that which is hidden? Do you ever think you'll see the hidden as visible? Let's continue. Continuous, without the intervention of another substance. Remember our preview? We're going to call our previous videos previews. Did you see the preview? The substance is the self-existing spirit, which was known as the deity, the deific. See, and this is where we want to raise our body from the understanding of the body to the understanding of the soul, from the understanding of the soul to the wisdom of the spirit. And in this, we become to be at one with our Creator. Without the intervention of another substance. Therefore, homogeneous and undifferentiated. The same and the same. Hidden. You see the logo of K.O.S. This is divine. That is the divine. As they say, logos. But keep in mind, there is no mind. Thus, you are one. We call it self. Why then do you not understand that self is the unchangeable one, equally perceived in all? Almighty One, how can you, who are ever shining, unrestricted, think of day and night. You, Dada Trio, now addresses the disciple to whom he is imparting the highest truth. Night. There can be no perception of any time or condition in perfect self-realization. No perception. We're talking about no perception, no distance in perfect self-realization. Know the self always to be everywhere, one and unintercepted. Self is the meditator and the highest object of meditation. Why do you divide? Why do you try to divide the indivisible? You are not born, nor do you die. Self is not born, nor do self die. At no time do self have a body. The scripture declares in many different ways the well-known dictum, all is self, or Brahman. I hope y'all know by now. Well, if not, as we becoming initiates into scholars, into logic, into adepts, into masterminds, because we master no mind. That Brahman is Marab. Brahma is Marab. So that's a K.O.S. A K.O.S. codex. You are he who is exterior and interior. You are the auspicious one, existing everywhere, at all times. Why are you running here and there, deluded, like an unclean spirit? Union and separation exists in regard neither to you nor to me. There is no you, no me, nor is there this universe. All is verily the self alone. All around you, all around self is the illusion. You do not belong to that which is composed of 5 objects of sense, such as sound, nor does that belong to you. You indeed are the supreme reality. Big question coming up. Why then do you suffer? Question mark. 5. The world appearance is composed of 5 objects of sense. Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Smell is not in reality connected with the self. The senses is not in reality connected with the self. See, that's part of the lower self. Let me bring up some and show you some. See, these come all out of the sacred divine teaching. This right here being more of the divine. You get what I'm saying? Now, we finna go into right here. We're going to say number 21. Let's say, understanding is the knowledge of the lower self. The sensing of the powers of man himself. So that's in reference, if you never understood that passage, maybe through this way, in this arrangement, you understand it. That the 5 or any sense is not in reality connected with the self. And this is what we describe as Sufian's lower self. For you, there is no birth or death. For self, there is no mind. For self, there is no bondage or liberation. For self, no good or evil. Why do you shed tears, my child? Neither you know, neither self nor I. Neither you nor self have name and form. Namarupa. Name and form neither. O mind, why do you wander about deluded like an unclean spirit? Behold the self, indivisible, invisible. Behold the self, invisible. Be happy through renunciation of attachment. Let me show y'all something right quick. This is how important study is. Show you the word psyche. Now watch. I'm going to read this up, but when I say stop, that's where it's finna get interesting. Animating spirit, your psyche. The human spirit, or mind. Now check this out. See how they love to throw that mind in there? See the spirit. We just showed that. Let me show you one right here. Hear now, oh, everything that is or was or evermore will be. See, right here. For wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. That's why you don't hear anything of the spirit life coming out of those who have not attained the spirit life. See, so it's saying something very important here. And I'm going to bring in another point that, behold, the self is invisible. So as it said in there in chapter 3, watch this. The higher self. What is the higher self? The higher self is the human spirit. Human spirit. Clothed with soul made in the form of Allah, if you want to know what it said after that. Is the human spirit. So now when we go back to psyche, now when you see animating spirit, the human spirit, or mind, you now know what it really is. See, it says also psyche, the soul, mind, spirit, life, one's life, psyche, one's life. Now stop. This is where we want to pay attention right here. Next lines. The invisible animating principle or entity, that's talking about self. See, they don't want to say self, but that's self, which occupies and directs the physical body. Boom. That's what they call it, chi. But see, it's called psyche in Greek. Yes. In our tongue, we call it ru. So this is what you have when we say invisible. So be happy through understanding this understanding of self. You verily are truth, devoid of change, motionless, one of nature, of freedom. You have neither attachment nor aversion. Why do you suffer seeking the objects of desires? All the scriptures say that the truth is without attributes, that the truth is pure, that the truth is immutable, that the truth is bodiless, and that the truth is existing, self-existing equally everywhere. No self to be that. Know that which has form to be false. That which is formless to be eternal. That which is formless to be eternal. Through the instruction of this truth, there is no longer rebirth into this world. No longer, etc., knowing oneself, meaning knowing oneself as eternal. One is not born into this world anymore, since incarnation is caused only by the soul's ignorance of its true nature. Yet let it be known that some return for compassion's sake while yet knowing the absolute. Sufas or Sufians say that reality is one only and the same, and through renunciation of attachment, the mind, which is one and many, ceases to exist. One and many, one in a high, but not the highest state of illumination, many in a state of ignorance. If it is of the nature of the not self, how can there be meaning mind? How can there be samadhi? If it is of the nature of the self, how can there be samadhi? If it is both is and is not, how can there be samadhi? If all is one and of the nature of freedom, how can there be samadhi? It meaning inconscientiousness or true realization. Samadhi, the absorption of the mind in the absolute Brahman, as a result of which the eternal truth is realized. If the universe of our experience is not self, then the true self is not in the state of samadhi, for truth is not there. If our experience is of the self, then samadhi is superfluous. How can the self then be in samadhi? You are pure homogeneous reality, disembodied, unborn, and immutable. Why do you think of yourself as I know it here or as I do not know? I know it here, meaning our knowledge of ourself in this earthly state is incorrect. To maintain that we do not have any true knowledge of ourself here is also incorrect. By such sentences as that you are our own self is affirmed. Of that which is untrue and composed of the five elements, the Surah says, not this, not this, that. The phenomenal existence as well as the unknowable. Five elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, of which according to the Indian systems of philosophy, the whole relative existence is constituted. They got different type of Vedantas and Vedas, particularly the Upanishads, the original text of the Vedanta philosophy. As the self is filled by the self, so is all filled continuously by you. There is no meditator or meditation. Why does your mind meditate shamelessly? Shamelessly. One should be ashamed to meditate because meditation presupposes a shameful forgetfulness of one's true nature. If one does not know the self, meditation is the way to realization. After realization, one ceases to meditate. I do not know the Supreme. How shall I speak of him? I do not know the Supreme. How shall I worship him? If I am the Supreme One, who is the highest truth? Who is homogeneous being and like unto space? Now then shall I speak of him and worship him. No, etc. meaning empirical knowledge belongs to a lower state in which the divine cannot be perceived. Therefore, one cannot speak of knowing the Supreme. If I am the Supreme, how can I see myself? Can the eye see the eye? Question mark. The principle of ego is not the truth, which is homogeneous, which is free from the cause of superimposition and distinctions of perceived and perceiver. How can the ego be that which is aware of itself? There is no substance whatever which is by nature unlimited. There is no substance whatever which is of nature of reality. The very self is the supreme truth. There is neither injury nor non-injury in, in it, the phenomenal material existence. And we're going to stop right there and we'll reconvene in our next video. Love and K.O.S. Eternal love. Eternal love is love divine.